go to Instagram and give it a second to connect.
There we go.
And now you can go.
Go low.
Go for row.
Go back here. Hey, everybody. Here we go. Now, let me get my Gatorade.
Let me finish this email.
Yeah, you just take your time.
I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.
Ava's all excited about something. Let me take these glasses off. We can set this back here like this. Eddie Williams Sellers and Ava Davis coming to you live this evening. Let's see right here. Do that like that. Good evening, TikTok. Good evening, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Lowe's, all that stuff. Y'all, we just got back we went downtown, went over to Ponce, and we thought we would go over there, and it was about 4 o'clock. We went to Mary Mac's. I had some pot roast and turnips. Ava had turkey and dressing, some cranberry sauce. Look at that. That's woodpecker, a red-headed woodpecker down there getting seed. Hey, don't we get excited about a woodpecker? A red-headed woodpecker over there on the bird feeder. Yeah, it's a gray afternoon. Why am I hollering?
I don't know.
It's a gray afternoon. It's been gray all day here in Atlanta. Hey there, Digits Mom over on TikTok. Good evening, TikTok. Hello, everybody. Come on in the room. Come on in and join us.
Snacks in the afternoon. Don't mind if we do.
Hey, Miss Stacy. Thank y'all for the hearts, the follows, the gifts, the rewards. Send me $100 check in Jesus' name. Hey, Disney Mom, you ought to be acquainted with my daughter Jill. That's a grown, she's never been to Paris, and we want to take her and Savannah to Paris with Ava and I. And she's already like, oh, if I go to Paris, I got to go to Disney Paris. I'm like, what? You don't go to Paris to go to Oh, no, we're going to Disney Paris if we go to.
No, she wants to go to Disney.
I'm like, you got to spend a day Euro Disney, but it's in Paris.
Hello, lovely Dawn, and thank you.
Hey, Miss Diane.
You would think I'm taping an audition, but Eddie and I just went on a date.
Yeah. Never been, but it's on my bucket list, Disney Mom says. You know what? Even we had a 2-week road trip. Hey, Miss Rhonda, had a 2-week road trip from Atlanta down to Key West and back. Well, one of the nights we had to stop and spend the night at Disney over in Orlando or wherever, because when Savannah was 2 or 3 years old, they went every year up until COVID, around Thanksgiving or something when school was out. Hey there, Corey. Lovely Dawn. Good evening, everybody.
It's a wonderful evening. Also, I'm looking at the greens. We need to put bird netting over them.
Yeah, maybe. A little bird flu would never hurt nobody.
No, they're eating them.
Who's eating them?
The birds.
Yeah, well, if they're that hungry, bless their hearts. But good evening, TikTok, everybody out there on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
It's always fun because our Thursdays are the start of our weekends, because I work Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Eddie works Mondays.
Yeah. Good evening over on Instagram.
Digits Mom, it is warm here.
It is warm here. I can take this other shirt off. Yeah. Matter of fact, let me take this little flannel top shirt off. Yeah, we went down to Mary Mac's, oldest restaurant in Atlanta. And y'all, it's kind of a trap, because when you sit down, they bring you a basket of fresh, warm bread. And you got yeast rolls and cornbread and all that in it. Well, by the time they bring you food, I done sat there and ate 2 pieces of cornbread and 2 yeast rolls with a lot of butter on them. I ain't even hungry. We got to-go plates and brought it back home. I doubt if we'll eat it, though. But I can make a meal just out of bread. I love bread.
You had biscuits for breakfast, too. We're in Atlanta, Georgia.
In Atlanta, y'all. It's 63 here. Digis Mom, where are you at? Yeah, I know you've told me several times. 63. That's
An ice storm last night.
I love
Crafty
you.
mama.
I love your yard. We had a nice storm last night, Crafty Mama. Yeah, I love our yard too. It's very it's raining here. Ava, your hair looks fabulous.
Thank you.
It was raining here the early morning of the. We woke up this morning. I told Ava, I'm like, my goodness, it's Greensboro. Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a nice spring day for Greensville, North Carolina. 63. Greensboro, North Carolina.
77 in New Mexico.
Isn't New Mexico a beautiful state? Oh my
Best
God.
life in progress. Live in Iowa, but from North Georgia mountains.
Well, you might need, if you're going to read it, you need to read it loud enough to people on Facebook. You just reading to yourself.
I got a microphone.
I
right
know,
here.
but I'm having to do like that. What you say?
Van says it's sunny and 80 degrees out in Houston. 68 in Charlotte. It's so fun talking to people all over the world.
It is fun, isn't it? West Alabama, 78 in West Alabama. That's hot. That can be hot. 78.
35. No, thank you.
35 in Ohio. That's God punishing Ohio for all y'all Ohioans, however you say it.
Are they the Hoosiers?
Yes, that's God's not happy with y'all.
See that negative 12 in Minnesota?
A negative 12 in Minnesota.
Is it contagious?
Good Lord. 77 in Arizona.
Indiana's the Hoosiers.
Indiana, the Hoosiers. Y'all, 77 in Arizona. You know, we drove from Atlanta to San Francisco. We spent time, Ava, I was not feeling well. Ava took a helicopter ride down across in the Grand Canyon and all like that. I'm telling you, we drove all the way up the coast of California, New Mexico, all around through there. To me, Arizona was the prettiest of all the states. Arizona is freaking beautiful. And I think it's because my favorite color have always been in the yellow families, oranges and goldenrods and reds and yellows. Man. Hey, AJ, 39 and the boogie down Bronx. Yeah,
It's cold in New York.
Yeah, it's cold. My daughter Jill's going up to New York now. Yeah, Arizona to me was the prettiest. It's just.
We did go to Sedona. Well, we drove.
Yeah, we did go to Sedona.
Did we stay there?
No, we didn't stay there, but we just
Drove
kind of
through
spent a
it,
day
yeah.
down in. And oh my God, it was like whatever the sensory tracks in my brain was like on overload just being in Arizona, because I'm like, oh my God, the thing about it is, for people out here, it's a once in a lifetime thing to get to see. You hear about the Grand Canyon all your life. And like, oh, I want to see the Grand Canyon. Well, before we went to the Grand Canyon and stayed there, we went to the Petrified Forest. We went to the Painted Desert.
That was wild.
Well, and you see all these other beautiful places in Arizona.
And then what was the other place? Well, that wasn't in Arizona.
We
but
drove up on a mountaintop in New Mexico. That was so beautiful.
Lincoln National Forest.
Lincoln National. I mean, so beautiful. And you just go up and up and up in a place.
We went to
in
Yellowstone too.
Yeah, we went to Yellowstone. We went to Yosemite. We drove up
White
the coast.
Sands. That's what I was trying to think. In Carlsbad Cavern.
Yeah, went down in Carlsbad Cavern.
It was cold.
It was cold, and then it was so hot at White Sands Monument that you couldn't even stay out there too long. It was just blistering hot, and it ain't really sand. It's like a gypsum something that looks like
what
sand.
they used to make the what are those boards called that we have in there?
Yeah, Carlsbad was kind of freaky to me, because you're down in the earth and you see these. It's so beautiful, but you're like, what's holding this from falling down on top of us?
Yeah.
Because they say the crust of the ground up above it is very thin, and they don't let people walk on it.
It makes me so nervous.
Monument Valley is beautiful. Did we go to Monument Valley?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we stopped at some lake coming out of Yosemite.
Bones was raised in East Point, Georgia. Thank you, Love the Dogs.
Yeah.
That's where we are. We're in
White
East
Sands
Point.
the week before I had. Yeah, we're in East Point. Did you see the bats? Yeah, in Carlsbad.
That was creepy.
That was creepy.
Vanessa, I'm sorry. I'm a soft speaker by nature.
Yeah. Sarah, this is Eddie William Sellers and Ava Davis. We've been together for 15 years. We live at Little House, Constance House in East Point, Georgia. East Point, for those of you who don't know, is about 5 miles from downtown Atlanta. It's like right out toward the Atlanta airport. Yeah, it is creepy,
It
Andre.
is.
It was very creepy, and it got cold too. But anyhow,
It did.
I was just saying, I love Arizona. I want to go back again.
We
I
should-
want to drive back across the desert, listening to Willie Nelson and all kind of music. And back then we smoked, and we kept a carton of Marlboro lights between the seats, and we were just riding all over Arizona, New Mexico, and California, and with the windows down, just playing music and smoking, just smoking. I'm telling you, if that could be, if I could come up with my idea of heaven, that would be heaven to me. A good cigarette, a glass of wine, and driving with the windows down.
That's why we quit smoking.
Hey, Mr. Henry, thank you there. I got it cut yesterday. It's getting springtime, and so I went by and got it cut yesterday.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Asked Ava to speak up. We can't hear. I told you, didn't I?
You did. You did.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, but now I have to go help my friend tape an audition.
So she's got a little studio right out here behind the house. So she's got to help Jason online do an audition. So Ava, I still think about that gorgeous red dress and white gloves you wore at the Christmas of Old Hollywood Glamour. Yeah.
Thank you.
Zonies. Yeah, y'all. So
right,
I'm going to sit here for a few minutes and tittle and diddle and babble. Look who's joined us, ladies and gentlemen.
He got in my seat.
Boom Boom got in the seat of Ava, and he thinks he's going to be a star now. Look at it. Y'all can see this over on TikTok. Boom Boom, say hello to the people. Say hello, buddy. Isn't he sweet, y'all? He's so sweet. He's trying to steal the camera from me. Look, now I want you to look here. Here comes Gracie. Let me see right here. Now Gracie's joined us. So y'all people out here, Boom Boom and Gracie has joined us. They want to be interviewed tonight. How long y'all been farming? Good Lord. They are so cute. Look at them. Look at them over on TikTok. I can't move the laptop on for the rest of you. See them. They so sweet. Boom Boom. Boom Boom. What you been doing? Boom Boom said he's tired. Oh, he's coming over on Facebook. Boom Boom's been downtown by the airport handing out Bible tracts all day because y'all know he's a Baptist. And he believes in handing out them tracts. He's so sweet. I love old Boom Boom. That's my buddy. That's my buddy. Here comes Gracie. All right, y'all. Listen, this ain't about y'all. Y'all had all day. Go on, chase some birds or squirrels or something. No, they start licking. They are cute, y'all. Y'all, I just feel good today. Do you ever have days where you just feel good? You know, you feel good. I have some days where I just feel like shit, for no reason whatsoever. You just have a day where you're kind of a little bit stressed, a little bit anxious. You got bills, you got worries, and, and then you have days also, for me, like today, I just feel good today. It's just one of them days. It's good to be alive, good to have breath in your body. It's good, just good. It's just a good day. And Ava and I, we're off today, both of us. So we've been around the house, and we lay down and try to take a nap about 2:30. And I'm like, I'm not really feeling the nap, And so I was laying there. Why don't we ride down to Merrimack's and get a little bite to eat? Went down there and ate a basket of bread and got the food to go. I tried to eat, but we couldn't even really eat. I have those days and can't pinpoint why it feels. Well, the old saying, Lotus. I like that, Lotus. The old things is just like, you could just say, wake up on the wrong side of the bed. There is no answers for a lot of that. But for today, I just feel good today, And I did start my morning post off this morning. Thank you, MM. MM says, Eddie, you look fantastic. Isn't that good to get compliments from people? Well, thank you. Is that a rainbow eucalyptus behind you? No. We do have eucalyptus around the yard garden, but that's this right here is a crepe myrtle tree, a white one that it's full of blooms every year, and then it's like and then it's like it snows when they all start falling. Yeah, Crepe Myrtle. Yeah, Digit's mom. Hey, Maria Garcia. Uh, Take a letter, Maria. And what was the words of that? Y'all probably don't even remember that. And then send it to tell da, 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 you don't have a good time. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's very true, Virgo 55. Nice weather does. Yeah, I think it's the spring like weather. It does. It wakes up all kind of yearnings and stuff in you too, and makes you kind of happy. And uh, yeah, it does. But anyhow, good evening, everybody. Eddie William Sellers coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, on a spring gray afternoon. It's kind of been gray and overcast all day. I'm going to. And then I feel like I've got a lot. Y'all ever do? I feel, hey, Eddie, back from Newcastle, UK. Yeah. Danielle. Yeah, Newcastle. Thank you for the gifts, y'all. It's not that I'm not thankful. I just don't feel weird. It's weird to get on here and say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But thank you for the gifts, the hearts, the roses. Warner Robbins, you just a little ways down south of us. Ms. Berry, Warner Robbins, Georgia. So now I feel like I got a lot on my plate to do, and Heather's house is moving along real fast now. So we're going to paint the inside of it. We're going to replace her backyard fence. The gate got knocked down and tore up. Got a part of the fence, and so I've got to go to Home Depot. I got to go to Home Depot and start getting fencing stuff. So then all the stuff like, oh, I need to get stuff done. So, but you got to always live life and take time to enjoy this day, because in a few hours, this day will be over and you can never go back and do anything with it, about it. I wanted to mention this to you on my Facebook page. If I can slow down and quit being so wired. It's kind of almost like I got ADD. A couple of things. On my Facebook page, I reposted a video that was popped up on TikTok about Oprah talking. And Oprah Winfrey, Miss Winfrey, just turned 71 years old a few days ago. And she's 71. I turned 70 my birthday. But she posted a video where she's being interviewed or on a podcast or something, and she's talking about her mother. And then as she's talking about her mother, she chokes up and she starts feeling very emotional and really close to tears. She actually was just kind of choking up. And she was telling the story about she got invited to come and to to come speak at a church that was honoring mothers. And she said, although her mother was not a religious person, she wanted the community to think she was religious. Doesn't that register with a lot of us, that we knew it wasn't all that churchy, but boy, they liked for everybody else to think they were holy and churchified and all that kind of stuff. So, and she said that she had to get up and give her mama accolades. And she choked up and she said the other people got up and talked about how their mama packed their lunch for school and had galoshes for when it was raining and had them a warm sandwich fix when they got home from school and all. And so she sat there, and this is where she started crying. She said, I didn't have one memory that I could get up and talk about that was special that my mama ever did for me. And it's not that a lot of people haven't been there in that kind of way, but what it reminded me of, if Oprah, who was friends with Dr. Wayne Dyer and went to his home and did shows with him, and Deepak Chopra, and she's interviewed and had at her home the greatest enlightened thinkers and, the renowned people. And she's been schooled and educated and sat at the stool next to many of them. But yet, at 71, when she thinks of her childhood and her mother and some of the things in her past, even though she's went through the greatest therapist in the world, it still in that moment brings her to that place where she's emotional, and it choked her up. And you can look at it on TikTok. You can see it on my Facebook page also. I love Oprah. If you don't like Oprah, that's your issue. I adore Oprah, always have. She's been a blessing personally to me. When I was going through hard times in my 40s, I watched her every afternoon at 4 o'clock here in Atlanta. And it was like I was sitting at an altar, just being fed that I'm going to be okay by watching Oprah. And but what it spoke to me is these childhood memories that I have, and these memories of being raised poor in a mill village, and these memories of my aunts and my grannies, and us going out in the yard and killing chickens and having dinner. And when I write about them or talk about them now, Digis Mom said, I love Oprah. Not happy that she brought us Dr. Phil, but we've all done stuff that probably we shouldn't have done. Oprah's no different than any of the rest of us. But so no wonder when I write, and I love writing about my childhood, and I have a book on Amazon for some of you that's tuned this way this evening called The Cabbagetown Years, My Life and Stories. And it focuses on a period of between when I was about 5 years old and 9 years old, about 4 or 5 years of my childhood. And I guess if Oprah can get emotional and start crying when talking about events in her childhood, things about her mom or her dad, it's perfectly okay. It's actually the emotions that we feel when we go back and revisit stuff. That just lets us know that there was things that happened that go with us through life. To me, it's great to feel emotional. And I love something. If I'm watching a good movie and it starts to make me kind of cry, man, I love that. I love that my emotions can be tuned in and done that. So, boom, boom. Me too. I called out of work for her last show. I watched it every day. Yeah, I love Oprah. Yeah, I know Dr. Phil and that other kooky doctor. I have to be careful how I say that over here on TikTok. That other one, that's a cardiologist, whatever, ran for Senate in Pennsylvania. He's wacky to me too. You know, him and Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil just strikes me. I don't know if I ever Dr. Oz. Thank you there, GW Blue, and Linda and all y'all. I don't know if I ever really liked Dr. Phil. I don't like people. You know, Oprah gave us so much information, but she never acted like she was a know-it-all and she just knew everything. Dr. Phil, he just always rubbed me like he just acts like he's old country Texas twang drawl, like he just knows everything better than anybody else. I just never have liked that about anybody, you know. Howdy, Eddie. Liberal pro. Let me can't even read. Liberal pro dude. Good evening there. Yeah, Oz, Lotus. His wife divorced him. Yeah, I call him PHUL, fool, I guess you'd say it. Yeah, I don't care for Dr. Phil. You know, he's so full of shit. I'm telling you. You know, I think, hey, Eddie and Ava, good evening from Illinois on the Mississippi. Marlis, good evening to you, Marlis. You know, in the South, we can be a little plain spoken. And when he got up there at that Trump rally and said that he would have done the same thing for Vice President Harris if she'd asked, and he wasn't being political, he was available to both of them. You know, in the South, we smell shit. I mean, it's hard to cover the smell of shit. I'm telling you, Dr. Phil was full of shit with all that. You know, he was just a big old bucket load of shit trying to come back and say it wasn't political. You know, of course it's political. He's a little MAGA Trumpy guy. So hello from frontal. Yeah, I can't read y'all. They're going by. Exactly. I got a lady over here on TikTok, Miss Martha. She says exactly. She knows Dr. Phil's full of shit, you know. So My dogs is out running around. Must have seen a squirrel. So anyway, everybody, Dzing ATL. Yeah, yes, we are. Man, I tell you what, we love Atlanta. Folks in Atlanta love Atlanta. Hey, Miss Darla, over on Facebook. Uh, 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 I'm with you on that note. Yeah, Vanessa. Yeah, he's full of shit. You know, get up there and talk about, you know, he's not political. Yeah, how can you? I mean, I was at the Harris campaigns as they come through Georgia. It would be weird, like, yeah, I'm going to these Harris campaigns, but I'm not political. Of course, you're political. That's why you're in a campaign, a political rally, because you're. His show never did as good. Yeah, he's. I don't know. I never did care for him too much anyhow. And that Dr. Oz is kind of weird to me. You know, just weird. You know. Yeah, correct. That dog won't hunt. But anyhow, good evening, everybody. Sitting out here on my little back porch with my two French bulldogs. Ava is right there in her studio doing a Zoom audition. Not a Zoom audition. Taping an audition with a friend of hers. Dr. Phil has been a big disappointment to me. Fake as hell. Yeah, Karen. You know, once you see, here's the thing about it is, we are talking about Dr. Phil and him saying he wasn't being political when he introduced Trump at Madison Square Gardens in that political big rally right before the election. And then he came out and he said, no, it wasn't political. I would have did the same thing for Vice President Harris. Just talking about how he's full of shit, Miss Lulu. But here's the thing about it is what is so devastating is once you see the fakeness in somebody, you're never able to unsee it. And that's why, you know, when a preacher collapses and his work is behind him, if people ever really once you see somebody as a hypocrite, you can't ever unsee that. You see somebody as fake, you can't ever see the unfakeness about it. You can never unfake it after that. And I've just over the last few years realized, hey, Anna's Anisintonde, oh, if I can say it, you're beautiful. I love you too. True story, preach. And I didn't even take it to this kind of level too. And y'all kind of know this. Once you ever lose respect for somebody, I don't care if it's your brother, if it's your uncle, if it's your cousin, May, who it is, or somebody at your church, once you ever kind of lose respect for somebody, it's hard to ever go back and respect that person again. You know, it's just hard. You know, it can be done. I've done it. Circumstances just came full circle around where it's a part of forgiveness. And you know, I know people say you forgive, but you can't forget. But I have had people where like, man, I don't have no respect for them whatsoever. And then as time went by and you dug deeper and deeper and deeper, and you realize that person has a journey of their self that they've come through, and you have to see them in a different light in order to ever respect them again. And Miss Diane, haters better not come after you because I stand up and I fight them. But Miss Diane says, haters don't come after me, but I feel the same way about Franklin Graham. I think he mixes politics with religion. They ain't no thinking about that. He does. And you talking about full of dog shit. Franklin Graham is about as full of shit as they come. I don't care. He could preach what he calls the gospel until his tongue fell out. He's so full of shit. I mean, he's double full of shit. So if any haters want to come after you about poor old brother Franklin, I'm in your corner. You know, yeah. I lost respect for him years ago, you know, with his old, yeah. Boy, didn't that rile up some passion in me about what did Franklin Graham ever do to me? Well, it ain't what he did to me. It's what he's done to the country. And, RE Hen 20, I agree. He's nothing like his dad. He is nothing like his father. Everybody's starting to chime in. He's nothing like Billy Graham. I liked Billy Graham. Billy Graham, if you go on YouTube and listen to his last messages of him talking and what he tells you before he dies, Muslims are going to be saved. The Jews are going to be saved. Nobody's going to be left behind. Billy Graham became an awakened preacher in his end years, that he believed salvation was for everybody. He believed in the ultimate reconciliation of mankind back to God, and so he was nothing like this. All this Franklin Graham is a Sean Hannity dressed in a preacher's suit. That's all he is. He's just a Sean Hannity. He's a demagogue, political hack that goes around talking about, well, you just give your life to Christ and everything will be all right. Turn to Jesus. So full of shit. Just so full of shit. Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Eddie. Kathy Cole says, Marlis over here says, what do you think about Billy Graham? I liked Billy Graham. I know he was a Republican at heart. I know he was friends with Richard Nixon, and his whole history's out there. But Billy Graham never seemed mean-spirited to me. He never seemed heartless and cold toward gay people. Or, when you listen to those interviews with him, people with a good heart and no hatred will be fine on the other side. Yes, they will. He never seemed like he was choosing politics over spirituality. Franklin Graham's nothing but Fox News wrapped in a preacher's suit. That's all he is. He's full of shit. I wouldn't walk across the street to hear him preach, and he could preach till his tongue fell out. I wouldn't walk across the street to hear him preach. Yeah, I just don't have no respect for him whatsoever. Hey, honey, just came to say hello. Hello. I think so, Nana Juju. I think Billy would be ashamed of him. Yeah. Hey, hello, Miss Mo. We out here talking about everything. Franklin Graham. Why don't we start off with Dr. Let's just what is that scene in Steel Magnolias where one of the ladies tells the other one, said, honey, if you ain't got nothing to say good about somebody, come over here and sit with me for a while. We acting like a bunch of old church people just talking about people. Kathy Cole said, I loved Billy Graham. I remember watching him with my granny. I never lost respect for Billy Graham. I think Billy Graham believed in his heart, and he loved the birth, death, and resurrection of the Christ, the Lamb of God, the Son of God. He loved telling people about there's a better way to live and a God that's merciful and long suffering. I mean, he had a tender message, and I do. Hey, Miss Dora. Thank y'all for the hearts, the follows, all the people coming in the room. Thank y'all. Good evening. Coming here to you from Atlanta, Georgia on my little, don't we love Steel Magnolias? I remember the first time I seen Steel Magnolias, I saw it at the movies, and I was sitting there and oh my God, and I don't know what was I in my late 30s, early 40s, whenever that come out, and I was sitting in the theater, and that scene where Sally Field, his dad would be ashamed. That scene in Sally Field, they had that whole crew on Oprah's show one time, and they described what was happening. When Sally's walking through the cemetery, when her daughter Shelby had died, and she's walking through the cemetery, and she's just pacing. And she said, I just hurt so bad. I just want to hit somebody. I want to hit some. All of that was done. Usually scenes like that are done 100 takes. They shot that one scene one time. And Sally Field said she was just imagining her own child, son, daughter had died, how she really would feel. And, that's where with the little holiness member of them, the little girl, lady, she told her, she said, well, I think that Shelby, she's just with the Lord, and the Lord really needed her, and this and that and the other. And Sally says, well, I needed her worse or something like that. Said, I'm angry. I just want to hit somebody. And that's where the brilliance of writing, where one of them, the Olympia Dukakis grabs Weezer, said, "Here's your chance, Weezer." Said, hit her, knock her lights out, and just broke the whole scene. but yeah, still Magnolias, love it. And you know what? And hey, everybody, coming to you from I've always been such a fan of Sally Field. To tell y'all this funny story, I was sitting in a theater in New York one evening. Sally Field was in the play. It was like a two-person play. It was Sally Field and somebody else. Well, I'm about the third row from the stage. I had good seats that night, Ava and I. This was several years back. And I'm sitting right on the edge of the row, all the way over to the side. And I didn't know that Sally Field was going to come into the play walking through the audience and come walk up on the steps on the side onto the stage. And I'm sitting there on the stage, and I didn't know this, but she's standing right beside me, Sally Field. And I just happened to be sitting there, and I just happened to turn around like that. And when I saw her, because she's this close to me, and I saw her and I hollered, and it made her jump. And then I was so embarrassed. I'm like, "Oh my God." And it's like the whole theater heard me say that. And Sally did like that. And then she smiled at me. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And she just smiled at me. And about that time, she walked up on stage and the play started. But I just love Sally Field. I just loved her. And to be that close to her and her standing literally right beside me in a Broadway theater in New York, just love her, love her, love her. So, yeah, but anyway, everybody, yeah, poor old Franklin. Y'all pray for Franklin. All right, I'm going to get off of here. We've been on about 35, 40 minutes. You can feel like it's still got rain and stuff in the air. Didn't talk about anything politics tonight. I'm telling you, I just have to come on here and just kind of flesh my brain out with earthly living. Enjoying evenings in spring and getting our walks in and going to Mary Mac's. And thank y'all for the hearts over here. We'll talk about Trump some tomorrow, the next day or whatever, and what's going on in Washington. It's a mess, isn't it? You know what? One other thing I want to tell you. I was down there, probably do a post in the morning about this, because I took a picture of it. I'm sitting in Mary Mac's, the oldest restaurant in Atlanta. And they have a screen in the Mary Mac's. If you ever visit Mary Mac's, it's got 5 or 6 different areas of rooms, different, rooms that you can sit in. And this one, they had a Fox TV channel over the bar. It had no sound on it, but it's continuous scrolling and you can see what they're talking about. And with Fox on, I just kept looking up there and kind of see. And the whole time they were talking about how wonderful it is that ICE is going around, and it was all about arresting people and arresting people and arresting people. And the people over on Fox, they love it. They love what's going on in the country. They love that families are being locked up and planes are deporting people. And yeah, Karen, I believe so too. It's like we live in two realities. We live in the reality that, like, my God, how screwed up is this country? And then the people in the table next to you think, how wonderful is the country right now? How wonderful is everything going? And I'm sitting there thinking, my God, they're rejoicing. They're rejoicing in the way the country's going. And I tell you one thing, though, cult or no cult, they won't be rejoicing when the billionaires get through plummeting through their Social Security checks and seeing which ways they can cut a lot of that out, where they can add more on for them to pay and to give them less to pay it with. You wait and see what's coming. They won't be so tickled. People can say, "Oh, I love Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump." Yeah, keep on loving him. We'll see how much you love him when your check gets cut about $500 a month. See how much you love him then. While he flies around in billion-dollar planes and lives in penthouses and squeezing your little bit of Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare out of you. And we'll see how much you love him, because that's coming. All this is a lot of smoke screen and smoke and mirrors and all that stuff. But anyhow, everybody, y'all good evening. Love y'all. Let's see what we got going on right here. So let me check one other thing. Good heavens. All these people over on Instagram. Goodness. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here and go see what I want to do this evening. I love y'all. See y'all.